Welcome to the Final Whistle podcast with the Wrexham AFC media team. The final score, Havant Waterlooville 2, Wrexham 3. And it's a good game. It was a good game in the end, and a game where Wrexham staked a claim in the title race and the playoff race for sure. And other teams around us, like they have most weeks, have slipped up. And this weekend, Wrexham, well, they took advantage of it with a victory, and in all honesty, Wrexham could have scored more goals during the game as well, created plenty of chances, very encouraging. Manager Brian Hughes has got them really going for it in attacking, and the defending's probably paying a bit of a price for it, but Wrexham look the real deal going forward at the minute. So Wrexham, no Stuart Bevan, no Bobby Grant, no Kevin Roberts with a calf injury, as does Luke Summerfield with a calf injury as well. Bobby Grant missed out with a little niggle, and Stuart Bevan with cold and flu symptoms. So Brian Hughes, sort of forced to shuffle the pack a little bit for his first away game. A trip to Hampshire as well, a long way to go. Obviously this week's schedule's horrendous. Bournemouth on Tuesday as well, and then off to Gateshead on Saturday. But it was a close game when it kicked off. When it finally, all the build-up was over and the game kicked off, it was close, and it wasn't until the 12th minute really when a cross from Ben Tollett, who is revitalised using his pace down the left-hand side, was put over the top of the attackers. Excellent work by Oswell to find him with the pass and the opening move, and Tollett just fired wide of the target. Former Red in the ranks for Havant Waterlooville, Joe Quigley, was busy, and he looked fairly decent in all honesty, and it was a corner on the 13th minute where he got his first opportunity with a header, but it was James Jennings there with applying the pressure like he did most of the game to force the ball clear. But it was a minute later when Fogden was brought down in the area, according to the referee, by Brad Walker. Now, looking back at the footage, it looks fairly innocuous really. I don't think it was a penalty, but the penalty was given, and that man quickly stepped up and slotted it home past Lainton and gave Havant Waterlooville the lead slightly against the run of play. It was fairly even up until that point, but Quigley made no mistake from the penalty spot and promptly went over and celebrated in front of the Wrexham fans. Wrexham huffed and puffed for the rest of the half really. It was again an even first half, probably shaded by Havant. They probably had the better of the opportunities. The 18th minute, Jason Oswell had a header very close to the mark, but again there were sort of half chances. Everyone was working hard, but nothing was really coming off in front of goal. But you could see if they stuck with it, at some point, if they carried on the way they were, a goal was gonna come. And Jason Oswell was pretty much key to that. He was first to everything on the ball. He was heading everything, flicking on. Some great passages of play up into the half-hour mark. And into the next best chance was really on the 35th minute for Wrexham. A corner won by Jennings. It's taken by Young. And it was Walker in the end who fired just narrowly over the bar. And the game fizzled out into half-time. So Wrexham went in 1-0 down at half-time, and Brian Hughes had a team talk to deliver, didn't he? And whatever he said seemed to spur the players on, because they came out for the second half and immediately were on the front foot. A chance in the 46th minute, Wrexham straight on the attack from the restart, and Ben Tollett found himself in the area and he fired towards goal, and it was tipped over. Well, it was deflected over. Really, it's one of them. It was a difficult one. Tollett did everything right, got the shot on target, but couldn't profit from it. A minute later, though, Wrexham equalised. It was Sean Pearson who scored the goal. Luke Young with a looping cross towards the back post after some great build-up play. And there he was, Sean Pearson, captain fantastic. Just nodded the ball home and celebrated promptly with the Wrexham fans. So 1-1, and Havant looked stunned. There was another... we described it as Messi-esque in the commentary. Well, James did. It's one to watch in a highlights. An amazing run by Akil Wright. He seemed to take on everyone and then smash a shot, which Dazinski did very well to save. James Jennings with the follow-up. It ricocheted off two bodies and out for another corner for Wrexham. Nothing really came of that corner, and Wrexham kept playing on the pressure all down that left-hand side. You know, going from side to side, going over to Rutherford and Carrington if they needed it, but it was Jennings and Tollett which were the key, really, coming down the left-hand side. And it was only on the 58th minute where Wrexham scored again, and it was Akil Wright. A cross coming in from Jennings, Oswell with the header, saved by Dazinski, and there he was. Akil Wright, he missed 4 chances against Maidenhead. Maybe, yeah, okay, whatever, but we'll forgive him because he smashed this one home and knee slid in front of the Wrexham travelling fans, and the scenes were fantastic. Wrexham taking the lead on the 58th minute. 2 minutes later, though, it was 3-1. And this time it was James Jennings, and it was an exchange of passes between him and Tollett. Tollett just set Jennings free in the area. Jennings opened up his body, side-footed it across the goal, past Dazinski, and into the net. And Wrexham really deserved it. What a period it was. And, you know, that's probably the best 15 minutes, 20 minutes of football Wrexham have played all season. And key to it really was the attacking down each side, and, you know, Tollett and Jennings linking up well, and Rutherford and Carrington on the other side. The 66th minute, Wrexham 3-1 up, as I say. Carrington turned his defender inside out. Olays from the Travelling Dragon fans got the cross in, but there was no one there on the end of it. Havant did score a goal on the 69th minute. Alfie Rutherford, probably their standout performer, the attacker. He was partnering Quigley, and everyone seemed to just switch off for a minute. And I looked up at the time. I was commentating on the game, and you sort of look up, and he's just sort of all alone with the ball at his feet, and he found a gap, and Lainton couldn't get there, and yeah, it was in the end a fairly easy goal for Havant Waterlooville to score. But sometimes I just feel that maybe if you're trying to pile on that attacking impetus, the defence may suffer at times. So maybe it's going to be, you know, one of those where, you know, we'll score more than you maybe this game. I don't know. Substitution on the 70th, Jason Oswell. Just a quick mention for him. We didn't do a man of the match at the end, but he was definitely in contention for it if we did, James and I. I'd probably give it to Oswell. He worked his socks off. Chrissy Holroyd came on for him on the 70th minute, and Holroyd was a master of the dark arts with James Jennings running down the clock towards the end. He was pivotal to claiming the win, as was Rob Lainton, but we'll get to that in a minute. As Havant really piled on the pressure really from then on. In the 73rd minute, a break down the right-hand side for Havant Waterlooville, and the ball fell to that man, Alfie Rutherford again, who smashed a shot into the side netting, with Rob Lainton furious at his defenders, came bursting out of the defence and started shouting at the players, you know, to get tighter onto Rutherford and the others. But luckily for Wrexham, that one hit the side netting. There was a break in play on the 75th minute. Williams went down, throwing himself into a tackle with Carrington, and he had to come off in the end. Williams, probably one of their better players as well, one of their standout performers during the game. But as I say, the game became stretched, and it was Havant really that were piling on the most of the pressure, trying to get that equaliser, trying to get something to show for it. If you were a neutral at the game, it was, it'd have been one of those that you really enjoyed. Everyone around me seemed to enjoy the game, but Wrexham just trying to run the clock down with those final few minutes. A corner in the 84th minute for Havant and Waterlooville, tipped away by a Wrexham head, and the warning signs were there. A second corner came in a minute later, and Walker went down and won a free kick and received treatment, ran the clock down a little bit more. 86th minute, again Wrexham win possession back, immediately turned over to Havant, who broke down the right hand side. That one came to nothing, and Wrexham seemed to be heading for the win. In the 89th minute, Brad Walker came off. He was replaced by Kieran Kennedy, who sat in front of the back four, sort of sweeper-esque, perhaps a little bit deeper than what Walker would have sat. But he did well, you know, for his first appearance. He did everything that we were asking of him, and Wrexham continued to run the clock down. Great work by Jennings and Holroyd on the left-hand side. Jennings throwing the ball in towards Holroyd nicking it off his man, and it going out for a throw-in further up the pitch, and Wrexham just working their way down the byline, trying to run that clock down. And then it was the 95th minute, the 5 minutes of added time, where Rob Langton won the game for Wrexham. A shot came in from the left-hand side this time. Langton, at full stretch, tipped it onto the post. That's a match-winning save right there by the Wrexham goalkeeper. And from the resulting clearance, the referee blew the final whistle, and Wrexham came out 3-2 winners. After the match, Brian Hughes announced that Ben Tollett was staying on for another 28 days as well, and he's organised that with Tranmere. So a very positive day at the office for Wrexham, coming out winners 3-2. And let's find out what James and I thought about it on the Calon FM Mixler commentary after the game.
Brought to you by the Wrexham AFC media team. Follow all of the action live and exclusive here on Calon FM. Listen on 105 FM, online at calonfm.com or via the TuneIn radio app. Follow us on Twitter at Calon FM and at Commentary WAFC. Wrexham AFC on Calon FM. Whenever, wherever.
Calon FM. Calon FM.
Hard fought, pride, passion personified. Wrexham come away with the 3 points. They score 3 away from the racecourse for the first time since Eastleigh earlier in the season. And the Red Army behind the goal have all stayed behind to clap their players off the pitch today. They've done the club proud. They've done a good job out there today. 3 points in the bag. 2 more away trips on the bounce coming up. And
are you ready for it, Carl?
Tell me.
Okay, full-time scores are in. Fylde 0, Chesterfield 1. Bournemouth 0, Hartlepool 4, Bromley 2, Maidstone United 0, not really interested in that one. Dagenham Regiment 0, Gateshead 2, not interested in that one. Eastleigh 2, Braintree 1, Halifax 0, Aldershot 0, Harrogate losing 1, have lost 1-2 to Ebersfleet. Wrexham have won, Leighton Orient have lost at home to Maidenhead, Salford have lost at home to Dover. Solihull Moors the only team to get a positive point 2-all. All the rivals, Wrexham are well in this, the first away game for a long time. The fans behind the goal have stayed back and clapped them, and they deserved it.
And even Ollie Williams is out there on the pitch getting some video to receive the claps. So that was fantastic. Well done, boys, as they drudge off here. And they're happy. So, James, hard fought, as we said, but a victory nonetheless, and a good victory.
Well, a good victory. Was it pretty? Was it messy? Well, yes. But we'll take it. It was that 15-minute spell coming out of the second half, as the Wrexham fans applaud them. Ollie Williams giving it large there, screaming at the fans, "Come on!"
Oh, okay, so that's rather random. I think some of the Havant players are getting into it. I think Ollie was trying to sort it out, to be fair.
Ollie shaking Wrexham supporters' hands like he's just won the match himself.
Ollie is the new Jeff Brazier. There it is. What is going on?
I think it must be the Portsmouth for 3-0 up and threw it away his first team, so he's rescuing some face today.
The Southern air's got to his head, James, but coolly taking goals, especially Jennings's.
Yeah, coolly taking goals, especially Jennings's. Akil Wright, I feel so proud, so happy for him after last week with missing, and it's hard to pick a man of the match. Oswell had a great first half, tired second half. Akil Wright changed the game, though, I think, for me, when he came up with that performance in the second half.
Yeah, Akil Wright, fantastic. After those 4 opportunities that that were missed on Saturday. Much was said, much was made of it, and today, he's proved the doubters wrong if there was any other.
Well,
there we go. So after all that, we've won. So
I've never looked forward to a 4.5 hour drive back so much in my life.
Fantastic. So we'll be back on Tuesday evening. It'll be myself, Colin Henrys, taking you through the action at Boreham Wood with the 7:45 kickoff. We'll be here from 7:30. Of course, then we travel to Gateshead on Saturday. Mark Griffiths and Colin Henrys will talk you through that one from 2:45 on the preceding Saturday at Gateshead. So from myself, the Wrexham AFC media team, and James Harrison, thank you so much for listening to us this afternoon, and we'll catch you again shortly at the next one.